Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And this is dealing with the end times signs and prophecies that Yahawashi, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, told his disciples to look for, to know that they were living in the last days. And while he told his disciples in the past of these things, as it says in Romans chapter 15, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. He was really speaking to his disciples today who are living in the last days, really the last seconds of the last days. But this is Matthew 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, and in some form or fashion. All these things are taking place as we speak, or in the process of taking place. But the one I'll be dealing with is the nations rising against nations. There will be, race wars out here. The different nations or races of people are going to be fighting each other. They're going to get back into that tribal, I'm for my own spirit. And it's especially going to be bad over here in the United States of America because for many years, this country was built on diversity and coming together. And we are all one nation. we all bleed red, all the same talking points you hear about. But the Most High is not about everybody coming together. And on top of that, the Most High, God, whose true name is Yahweh, is only for his people, the children of Israel, known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. There will come a time during Jacob's trouble where these racial tensions will come to a boiling point, and it's going to be a free-for-all in the United States of America. And to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you better stop, thinking that this place is your rest and that you can rely on these different heathen nations to be your friends in that day. Because again, when it comes down to it, people are going to go for their own, and then they're going to go for what they know. But I opened up the video with that verse to preface a clip from a YouTube channel called Heavy Duty Country, and the title of the video is, "Please try to come slaughter all of us." And as we're going to see in this clip, this Edomite, a so-called white man from Texas, is going into how a politician over in South Africa is talking about deleting all white people and all that. And, he's going into that spirit of, come and take it. And if you try to come against me, I'm going to put you down. Well, hey, he's going to get all the smoke he wants, and everybody's about to get all the smoke they want. But, this further backs up Matthew 24, verse 7, and the other precepts I'm going to be going into about how there will be racial, skirmishes, race wars out here, nations rising against nations. But this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Oh, these are always fun. So for those of you who don't know, I started this show about 4 years ago. It was pretty much right when COVID hit. And one of my first big videos was addressing the NFAC, and they were threatening white people and saying that they were going to take away Texas from everybody.
And I'm sure a lot of you, brothers and sisters out here remember the NFAC, or the Not Fucking Around crew, and their leader, Grandmaster Jay, who was nothing more than an agent. And, all this stuff was set up, controlled opposition. But regardless.
Of liberation, declaring every African-American descendant of slavery a political prisoner here in the United States, and that was affected by the Portuguese slave trade. And then after that, The United States has a choice. Either A, carve us a piece of land out here, we'll take Texas.
And that didn't go well for them. Their leader was sentenced to 7 to 10 years in prison for pointing a gun at a federal agent. But now I'm going to address a different group of people who are kind of along the same lines, except they're just not in America. But who knows? Maybe they'll come through our southern border because it's just wide open, and maybe they will end up here. So there's a...
And hey, that's another thing. A lot of those migrants, in quotes, coming across the southern and the northern border of the United States of America, they're going to get involved in these race wars as well. They're going to add to the tensions, and a lot of them are, UN and other military forces that are going to be policing the streets of the United States of America when all hell breaks loose down here.
Guy who may become a president of an African country. His name is Julius Malema, and he is calling for white people to be killed, okay? Let's just roll with that for a second here.
Never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we have not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies.
And since this Edomite doesn't seem to understand the context, from what I've heard dealing with that guy Julius Malema, he's not referring to or maybe he is, referring to Edomites globally. From my understanding though, with that situation, he's dealing with South Africa, because of course, back during the 20th century, South Africa was an apartheid state where those Edomites down there had segregation with those Hamites, or so-called Africans. And, as usual, where these Edomites dwell, a lot of atrocities follow. So from my understanding, that's what Julius Malema is talking about, dealing with those Edomites in South Africa. But hey, as we read in Matthew 24, verse 7, nation shall rise against nation. Hey, especially in the United States of America, but, in other parts of the world as well, these different nations of people are going to be going at each other. But, just giving my, 2 cents on that.
Oh, that's nice. All right, well, let me make things clear just so you know how an American thinks and how we're raised down here, sir. I am not afraid of killing. No fear of it whatsoever. Now, there is a huge difference between what my thought process is on it versus yours. When I say I'm not afraid of killing, I'm saying if you come and try to hurt me or my family or my people, I have no problem putting you down. Zero. I'll eat a big old slop of barbecue right after I do it. I have no problem with it, because to me, that's not killing, that's self-defense. What you're talking about is just killing people based on their skin color. Isn't that nice?
And what you Edomites fail to realize is what nation of people push this whole idea of, intelligence and race and everything being based around your skin color? You did. So during the hundreds of years of your rulership, that's been heavily pushed. So with people that are outside of being Edomites, that's been, psychologically imprinted in them. And it's bigger than the skin color with you Edomites. It's your history of what you've done to people. You have a track record of rape, robbery, and murder. How did those Edomites create that apartheid state in South Africa? How did you Edomites get the Americas from the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans? Exactly. That's the grievance these nations of people have against you Edomites. And I did a video the other day on how in West Africa, you've got several nations like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, kicking you French Edomites out of their countries, and they're, trying to take their country and their resources back into their own hands because they're sick and tired of your history of colonialism and exploiting them. And, this is just another signs of the end of the times, like I talked about in that video, that we're at the end of you Edomites as rulerships. You're being exposed for who you are biblically, and everybody is coming against you for your destructive past. This is Obadiah, chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. And this whole book is dedicated to the, downfall of you Edomites. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, and that's going into your reputation being made small amongst the heathen, and you being greatly despised, because you're losing your grip on power. And what? These nations, which, hundreds of years ago, decades ago, wouldn't have even, spoken against you, are now speaking against you and saying, look, you're the root cause of the problems in our countries. We're going to take our so-called destiny back into our own hands. And that's what old boy in South Africa, is going into. And hey, there's going to be bloodshed involved in that. Which, already over in South Africa, those Hamites have been killing some of those Edomite farmers out there and, abusing those Edomites.
And then here's one of his supporters.
Each one person that is being killed by the taxi industry will give 5 white people. For every one black person who kills, will give 5 white people. Who kill one of us, will kill 5 of you. Will kill the children, will kill the women, will kill anything that we find on our way. They kill one of us, we kill how many? They kill one of us, we kill how many? They kill one of us, we kill how many whites? We kill the children, we kill the women, we kill their dogs, we kill their cats, we kill anything that comes to fight.
Oh, good. Oh.
Behold, I have made thee small amongst the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Okay, sure you are. Who's trying to kill you? Are we going over there and trying to kill your people? If we are, I'm unaware of it. But you're going to kill 5 of us for every one person over there that's not being killed? There's a lot of forms of mental illness nowadays. This could just be a different culture. But I can say that we're 100% not scared of this. Listen to
A Western culture and Edomite supremacy. White fragility, as they call it. That's a mental illness.
more detail, though, as far as what this guy thinks.
Crybabies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now.
I can't give a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now.
All right. Look, sir, I know you're going to see this.
Well, let me rewind it back to hear what he said.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now.
All right. Look.
I think he said there would be a revolution in this country. So, like I said earlier, what this Edomite fails to understand is that, he's not talking about Edomites globally. He's talking about, those Edomites in South Africa.
Sir, I know you're going to see this, so I'm going to speak directly to you right now. You're fucking nuts. Pull your head out of your ass and figure it out. 1, you are vastly outnumbered. 2, you are vastly out-armed. What do you think you're going to do? You're just going to go to every country that has white people and just try to kill them all? Why don't you start in America? Try it. Serious. The military won't even get involved. The citizens will hand you your ass on a platter.
And hey, I'll say this, this Edomite, when these race wars break out, civil unrest and, martial law and all that in the United States of America, I don't doubt that he's going to be putting shit down. But you Edomites are going to get your asses, handed to you too. You aren't in that old 1776 spirit, because what? You got the powers that be having the southern border completely wide open, the northern border's open, letting all these different nations of people in. And what are you doing right now? You're talking. You're not doing like your old forefathers who would go down there with the guns and handle business themselves. So you Edomites in America are already compromised.
Guess what? It'll all be in self-defense. We don't want to hurt you. We have no problem with you. I have no problem with you right now. You're just a dumbass. But this is what social media does. This is what media does in general. It gives people a big stick and they say things that may end up biting them in the ass.
We are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future you may very well call for the slaughter of white people.
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yes, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
You know what's worse than a man who says some heinous stuff? A man who then walks it back and doesn't want to own it after. You literally just said you may call for the mass killing of white people, and then now you're like, oh, well, it may not be me. I'm not sure. Own it, dude. If that's what you think, own it. But then you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of it.
Shoot to kill. Come on, sir. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. Brr, pa.
They got a whole football stadium of people cheering this whole thing on. I just have one question. Why? What are white people doing to you? What is anyone who's not black doing to you? I don't know, man. I feel like there's a concept in other countries that America doesn't get, and it's just being savage. We've gotten so soft and woke in this country, but what I can tell you, at least these people, there are certain Americans who grew up with a culture to where you may see me, I'm very nice, I'm very polite in person, but there's a switch in me and there's a switch in all of us to where if you threaten my family, my people, my country, any of that, you'll see a different person that you don't want to go up against. But this type of stuff always works out for the people who are saying it, so continue on. Just know that no one is scared of you, especially not Americans.
Esau with this blessing. But hey, this guy right here, hey, all you good old boys, even you Israelites out here that think you're, the baddest thing on the block, everybody's going to get their day coming up soon. And it's all a part of biblical prophecy. But again, going back to the premise of this video, hey, this is just a sign of the times out here. Nations will rise against nations, and it's going to get bloody, especially in the United States of America. Now let's get back to these precepts. This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. And that chaste roe is talking about you Edomites. I believe it's in Job chapter 18, where it talks about the wicked. And the wicked, according to the scriptures, are you Edomites. The border of wickedness in Malachi 1 verse 4, and the wicked whom the earth has been given into the hands of in Job chapter 9 verse 24. And it mentions you being the chaste roe. Because while all these different nations are going to be going against each other, during the times of Jacob's trouble, hey, one thing they're going to have in common is going against you when they get a chance to. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. What does that sound like? People getting tribal, going back to their own nations. And you're seeing a lot of these people that came to this country for a better life starting to leave now because they see America is no longer a tenable country to live in because of what? Inflation and just it being on the decline. But hey, everybody that's left here, hey, they're going to be going unto their own people and getting it how they live. And to everybody out there that is still in that we are the world spirit, I'm going to just use Israel for an example, since you're the only people we care about. If you're an Israelite man with an Edomite woman, or especially, an Israelite woman, that so-called black woman, that Judite woman with a Brad, hey, if you're found amongst those people in that day, you're going to get put down. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished or graped. So it's not going to be good, being in that we are the world spirit that's going to go out the door, you know, when when there's famines out here, civil unrest, the lights go out, etc., etc. And everyone that is found amongst them is going to be dashed to pieces. It doesn't matter that you used to go to your Edomite neighbor's son's football game, or they came over to your house for a barbecue. When it's dog eat dog out here, hey, the dogs are going to eat. But this is 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. And that one people can go into many things. You know, civil war with, people going against the government, class wars, even race wars. And as we just read in Matthew 24:7 and Isaiah 13 and verse 14, there will be racial conflicts out there. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that modern day sword, especially in the United States of America, is the gun. So we can clearly see that race wars are tied with end times biblical prophecies. But another thing I want to deal with before closing this video is Julius Malema in South Africa was talking about what? Putting down Edomites. And that's ultimately what's going to happen to you Edomites. But it's going to be the children of Israel in the kingdom of heaven, not right now, that are going to be, the ones to, make a permanent end of you Edomites. That's all a part of biblical prophecy. Julius Malema is talking about getting those South Afrikaners back for apartheid and what he did to his people. So what do you think is going to be the case with the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who have dealt with hundreds of years of oppression by you Edomites? And not just now, but what? In the past, with you Edomites as the Greeks, abusing the children of Israel, and then as the Romans abusing the children of Israel. This is Revelation chapter 13. I'm going to read verses 9 to 10. And this is in the last book of the New Testament. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And you Edomites definitely led the Israelites into captivity, the transatlantic slave trade, and you definitely killed our people with the sword during the time of colonialization, the time of slavery, the time of Reconstruction, the Jim Crow era, the Civil Rights era, all the way up until today. There will be a recompense for what not just you Edomites, but all you heathens did against the children of Israel. And the Most High is going to use Israel to enact his vengeance. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people, Israel, point blank period. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword, and according to my fury. And look at what the Most High allowed you Edomites to do to his children for us going off. So what do you think is going to happen to you, a nation of people that he created to hate? And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. And like I said, what this is ultimately going to culminate into is after the first 1,000 years of the kingdom of heaven, when not just you Edomites, but all you heathens are going to be in hardcore bondage and slavery. Hey, these other heathens are going to allowed to go back to their lands and live, but they're still going to be subject to our laws, statutes, and commandments. However, for you Edomites, every single Edomite, man, woman, and child, young and old, is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet by fire. Now I'm going to go back to Obadiah. I'm going to jump down to verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, the southern kingdom, or the so-called Negroes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and the house of Joseph a flame, the northern kingdom, or the so-called Latinos and Native Americans, all 12 tribes back together in unity in the kingdom of heaven, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. Point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. And just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.